So Gilgamesh is the first epic, the first hero story is Gilgamesh. And the way that they conquered Gilgamesh, he's the first king, and the reason why he's the first epic is because it was the first writings that we found on Gilgamesh, the oldest piece of writing out there. But Gilgamesh, he was a king of Uruk. He built a wall of Uruk, and I guess he provided for his people, provided stability, peace, order, whatever, I don't know, protection, maybe, maybe not. But he was a wicked king. He was a wicked king because he was raping every single one of the wives before they would get married. He was taking his kingly, tax or whatever. Oh, okay, you two are going to be together in holy matrimony, but not before Gilgamesh goes ahead and takes a little dunk. And so the gods were watching this, and the gods didn't like this. And so what did the gods do? Well, the gods created a wild man created by the gods. A wild man created by the gods, and they put him out in nature, and he would eat the grass with the gazelle and run with the animals, just like Mowgli. Just like Mowgli being suckled by wolves, living out in the jungle, having a Bagheera, a panther, and a bear, and wolves to raise him. Now, the wild man created by the gods, in order to save the people of Uruk, Gilgamesh was oppressing the people of Uruk. So Enkidu was a wild man created by the gods in order to confront Gilgamesh. Now, how did they tame Enkidu? The way that they tamed Enkidu was a whore. A woman was given to Enkidu. She just laid around in the grass. Eventually Enkidu is like, what is this? And he slept with the whore. And once he got the scent of a woman, the stench of a woman, once he got the stench of a whore on him, then the animals wouldn't play with him anymore. I remember I told this one woman about that story, and she's like, why'd you tell me that? Why do you think these stories exist? Why is this story here? Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, right? Isn't that what the homophobes say? What do you need Eve for? God told Adam and Eve, one rule and one rule only. You see that apple tree? Don't eat out of that apple tree. Okay? You can have all the Garden of Eden. You can have all the berries and all this and all that. Just don't eat this one tree over here. And Eve takes it. She's talking to a snake, which, what? Why are you talking to a snake? The snake says, why don't you eat the apple? She's like, all right. Eats the apple. Not only does she disobey God's command, but she gets the man to disobey God's command on top of it. Again, why does this story exist? Why is this story out there? People act like women can't be contentious. Growing up the way that I grew up, I've seen women do a whole bunch of stuff. They can, split wood and get on a tractor and get up in the barn and work real hard. They can put just as much effort, just as much blood, sweat, toil, and tears as a man. But to think that womankind can do all the good that man can do, she's not as strong, but she can do pretty much everything man can do. But to pretend that she couldn't do all the evil that man can do, it almost seems like when you put a woman in a position of power, she's just like the man. You want her to be the woman, you want her to lead with her femininity, you want her to lead with her heart and her compassion. But she just wants the power. Shut your mouth. Do as you're told. And there's just something about being told what to do by somebody that's not the king of the forest. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about, if a child was sitting there telling a woman what to do, hey, you do what I tell you to do. I'm 5 years old, you obey. Or a kitty cat or some other thing. And if it's anything but, I need food and water to live, but it's like, hey, why don't you do all the work out here, till my fields, do all the housework, do all the schoolwork, make me look good. So I go back and forth with this because I'm not for sure which one I believe. I want to believe Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Wollstonecraft. She did a lot for the cause of womankind because a lot of times it does seem like men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I've heard that women want equality and they want to be put on a pedestal. Well, that's a contradiction. You don't get the privileges and the equality. You get one or the other. Marilyn Monroe says she doesn't mind living in a man's world as long as she gets to be a woman. Proverbs 21:9 says, it's better to live on the corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. It's better to live on the corner of a roof than to live with a quarrelsome wife. That's King Solomon. When I think of Margaret Thatcher, when I think of Hillary Clinton, these women were the exact same as men, only they were worse. They wanted the power, they wanted the authority, they wanted the fascist power. Do as I say or else violence will happen. There's a lot of great women throughout history. I like Abigail Adams. I like Joan of Arc. There's a lot of great women throughout history. And then for all the great men, they were born from women, right? So even the great men have to give credit to womankind as well. So I go back and forth because it's like, do you look at the world the way that I look at the world when I look at the Constitution and I see such beauty? I see the orderly beauty of the thing. I see that the preamble says that we need to pursue justice and peace and freedom. And it's incredible because we say, here's the point of the U.S. government. You think logically and rationally. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars. That book says that women talk for their emotional needs. They just like talking to another person because another person is around. Whereas men are more logical. It's like, what's the problem? Let's get it done. What's the issue? Let's solve the issue. What do we need to sit here and chit-chat for? We don't need to have an emotional connection. You said the problem was this, and so I went out and I solved the problem. Oh, what? Your tire's flat? Well, we could, chit-chat about it for days, or we could just go ahead and fix the damn tire. Now, Mary Wollstonecraft did a whole bunch for the cause of womankind because I don't know if Rousseau is right or Wollstonecraft is right. Rousseau says man is man and woman is woman. So you want to educate man for him to be the best man that he could be, but for a woman to be the best woman that she could be. Sophie, Emile and Sophie. Emile gets a man's education, but Sophie, she gets her own education, but you want her to be educated so that she could be good for the man. Whereas Mary Wollstonecraft, she says a lot of different things, but essentially she says you got to educate a woman too. Not only do you need an educated woman so she can talk to educated man. You think some simpleton can talk to educated man? No, you need an educated woman so they can talk to an educated man. But she said when it comes to freedoms, when it comes to a right to petition and a right to peacefully assemble, when it comes to the right, a vindication of the rights of woman, she says that woman needs education just as much as man does. So equality and on a pedestal, that's not fair. That's a bunch of bullshit. That means you want to be the police officer and then say, hey, respect my authority. And I saw two women cops try to arrest this man, and the man kind of looked around and was like, you guys are women. And so he shook them off and then he ran. And then they tried, hey, get back. They couldn't hold him down. They couldn't keep him. They couldn't run after him. They couldn't chase him down. They did jump into the police car, then start driving around, which they never found him. And they left some handcuffs there too. So not only did they not arrest the guy, because if you respect, the laws and the rules and you're just supposed to do as you're told, hey, I can arrest you. No you don't. See you later. She dedicated the rights of woman to Talleyrand. Having read with great pleasure a pamphlet which you have lately published, I dedicate this volume to you to induce you to reconsider the subject and maturely weigh what I have advanced respecting the rights of woman and national education. So do you educate Sophie so she's a good woman to Emile? Do you educate Sophie so she's the best woman or the best person or individual that she could be? Do you educate the man so he can be the best husband, the best man for woman? You could do it for both. So Mary Wollstonecraft, she wrote a book, The Vindication of the Rights of Woman, or the Rights of Women. You got the rights of man, right? But what about the rights of woman? There's a reason why we have the story of Enkidu. He got the stench of a whore on him, and then the animals didn't want to play with him anymore. God gave Adam and Eve everything that they could ever think about having. But it was woman who ate the apple and then passed the apple to man, and then God was not pleased with them at all and kicked them out. But if you take a step back with the Adam and Eve story, I bet you, would Steve have ate the apple? Maybe he would, maybe not. It's a weird order to give. You can have all the berries and all the strawberries and all the grapes. Just don't eat the apple. Well, why not? What's so special about this apple? And then an apple from the tree of knowledge and good and evil. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. Oh, that sounds like some priest shit. That sounds like some Pharisee. Woe to you, Pharisees. What these religious assholes are saying is that they get to determine what is good and evil. And they don't want you to take a bite of the apple because they want you to listen to them, what they say is good and evil, and then obey their stupid bullshit. They don't want you to be independent-minded and to think for yourself. So the Adam and Eve story is kind of bullshit. Enkidu, I can't get that one out of my head. And Proverbs 21:9, better to live on the corner of a roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife. That makes a lot of sense to me. No, I get to argue with you and be terrible to you and talk down to you and talk to you like shit. And hey, no, you're not allowed to. There's a Chaplinsky decision. He called that cop who was being a fascist. And they said, well, you're not allowed. You have free speech, but you can't say a bunch of fighting words. So if you're a man, you can't say fighting words. If you're a woman, can you say fighting words? If you're a woman, can you just go up to a man and be like, you ain't shit, you stupid bitch? Are you allowed to call a man a bitch? You don't want to be called a bitch. Nobody wants to be called a bitch. Nobody wants to be cussed and talked down to. So the fact that America is on the verge of electing our first woman president, I'm just wondering, are we actually ready for this? Since I've been a feminist for a long time, it's like, yeah, elect a woman. Maybe she could, help fix the problems. But if she gets into a position of power and then has penis envy and needs to act like a man and needs to have all the fascist authority in the world, I don't like it. I don't like fascist men being fucking dudes, I say, or else violence will happen. So why would I take it from a woman? What it would be awesome is if she would let her femininity reign supreme. And woman, yeah, do this, do that. I guess, on some level you got to have a function. The house has the function. But if you listen to Jordan Peterson, woman is chaos. And so therefore, woman's power is to inspire. Woman's power is to say, reach for the stars. To encourage and to inspire man. And I like that a lot because a lot of men are inspired by woman anyways. And she, by the way she looks. But if she's got some moral character, when I think of Jill Stein, she's such a precious revolutionary. It makes me want to climb to the top of a mountain and say, hey, health care for everybody. Womankind, when I think of the French Revolution, you got that naked woman that's, everybody's rallying around that naked woman, that poster of that naked woman. So to be a great woman, I think would be to inspire hordes of men, to inspire an army of men to do great things. Now that would be a great woman leader. But a woman who just says, hey, I'm the boss now and I get to play the boss and you better listen to me because if you don't, then I'll get this other guy to hurt you. That's the same dumb shit that I don't like with fucking man. Hey, I'm the boss if you don't listen to me and then I'll hurt you or I'll get him to hurt you or her to hurt you. No, I'm free. This is a free country. The preamble says we're here to protect our freedom and we have a whole Bill of Rights. That would be awesome. Could you imagine a woman who read the preamble or read the Constitution or read the Bill of Rights and said, wait a second, the end object of this country is for domestic tranquility. No, we need to promote the general welfare. Wait a second. We need to provide for the common defense and we need to perfect this union. There's 50 states. What can we do to perfect this union? Well, we need to put Utah and Montana and Florida and we need to put them in a spot and make sure that they're friends. So I think woman is pretty much man. When I think of my dogs, they're pretty much the same. Whereas my female dogs, I've actually had one female, Sasha, all day long. I would let, 5 of them just run around all day long. And all she would do is just run from one side to the other side, and they all would go chasing her. And they can't wait to, get with her, kiss her. And she would actually be such a tease. She would let them dunk it, and then she would go, and she would run away. Oh, you like that, huh? Well, if you want some more, then you better chase me. You want some more of that, then you better come get me. But Sasha's a strong dog, and she's protective of her babies. And she is, a strong dog, just as strong as the men. The male dogs are strong. They're stronger. So if you want to, have a race, or if you wanted some strong dog to pull something, or the male dog is a little stronger. He also seems to be more prideful, and he doesn't complain as much. He can kind of sit in the cool grass and just be chill. Whereas sometimes the female dogs could be more complaining and more rude and disrespectful and barking at anything and everything. But in general, they're the same. They're both dogs, and they're both strong dogs, and they both love man, and they both are protective, and they're both really cool. So if dogs are any indication of womankind, because let me throw this at you, America. If we're going to say that men and women are just, equal all the time, well, then there's no pedestal, right? If womankind is the same as man, then you can't just revert back to being a little girl. You can't be like, hey, I'm a tough guy, and you better do as I say, and you do as I say. And then if somebody knocks you down, then you say, well, I'm just a little girl. You're not allowed to do that to me. But if a man acts fucking stupid and crazy, and then, let's say he got his just desserts, he's not just being picked on by some bully or some criminal, can he just say he's just a little girl, and then everybody starts feeling sorry for him, even if he was a weaker man, even if he was kind or not? And then who wants violence anyways? That's the whole point of man, is to sort of organize their life so they don't have to worry about quarrelsome anybody. And so what I was going to throw at you, America, is this. The whole reason why man isn't supposed to hurt woman, well, that's because she's weaker. And therefore weaker in mind, body, and spirit. She's weaker and dumb, and she's not a human. She's not an adult. She's not a grown man. She's not a grown citizen. She's just a little baby child. Just a little tiny baby girl. She's not a grown man at all. Is that what we're saying? And if you reject that, which I hope that you do, but maybe not. If you're just a little whiny baby girl, then okay, be a baby girl. There's room for Marilyn Monroe's. But I think there's room for Joan of Arc as well. And I think that there's room for Abigail Adams just as well, too. And Jill Steins. And that Iman Khalib, that female boxer. And I saw an advertisement of Iman Khalif where she actually looked cuter when she was like throwing little punches. When she got all dolled up, it was like, I'm not for sure. When she was, had a little curl and just kind of like, eh. It was like, oh, you're a woman. Oh, wait a second. So if you reject the idea that the reason why it's socially, people look down upon that because woman is just a dumb baby child. She's dumb in spirit, dumb in mind, dumb in body. She's just weaker all around. Weaker all around. If that's what you're saying, then we shouldn't be putting little baby girls in charge of anything. Take care of the baby, protect the baby. But you don't get to make the decisions. You don't get to get into politics, get into business. You probably shouldn't be operating a vehicle. You probably shouldn't get on a tractor. You probably shouldn't be operating heavy machinery. I know women could do it. I know women could do it. So, I guess when it comes to Mary Wollstonecraft, I just go back and forth because I know a lot of shitty women. I know a lot of shitty women that just kind of take and take and take, and they don't care. They're sadistic, and they don't care who they hurt. They're selfish, they're narcissists, they're mean, they're cruel. And it sucks, and it's awful. But a man who says, do this and do that, but hey, I care about you and that's why I'm doing this to you, that seems a little different to me. I think women could do the same thing, frankly. But I guess we've been letting women get away with so much, and then they want to appeal to their female friends. Who was it that, Esther Viller? She said there's nothing like a woman gaining the respect of another woman. That's the most important thing for a woman. And then Esther Viller also was talking about how a woman is just trivial. She wants to put on makeup, wear dresses, play with dolls. What, build a society, a structure, a constitution, an architect, build a skyscraper. These are not things that woman actually wants. And so therefore, The Manipulated Man is the book that she wrote. And therefore she's saying, man, we have totally flipped the script on men. We've made them feel dumber and inferior, and we've been treating them like they're the punk-ass slave nobodies when actually they're the man. And there's penis envy, and we love man, and we look up to man, and we idolize man, and we think man is great. I think having a good woman that backs a good man is perfect. But having a good woman with a man that backs her, I think that would be great too. It seems like it would be great. So I don't know. I don't know if Rousseau is correct or Mary Wollstonecraft is correct. Like I said, I met a lot of shitty ass women. A lot of Karens who want to just be a fucking dick about, you cut in front of me in the parking lot in this spot, and I'm going to stand here in the middle of traffic and just be a dickhead for hours and be like, well, I'm a woman. Hey, you can't do that to me. You are creating a dangerous situation. You're being dumb and dangerous right now. I can't say that to you. I can say that to you. You cannot cause a fucking shitstorm in the middle of the interstate and have a 20-car pileup just because, hey, I'm a woman and I can do what I want. You got the freedoms that I have, but you can't commit crimes. You can petition and you can peacefully assemble. You got the right to speak, the right to life, liberty, and property. But the right to cause rampage, the right to oppress and terrorize and criminalize, you don't have a right to go around. Susan Smith put her kids in a car and drowned them. You had Lori Vallow that got her man, used pussy power to get her man to kill her kids. That one woman was responsible for the death of the man's son and then still wanted the man to love her anyways. Look, believe my lies. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything to your beloved son. Just love me, and keep loving me no matter what shit I've fucking done. Why do we have this? I'm not saying man is perfect. There's a lot of dumbass men out here too. So my hope in woman is my hope that she is like man, similar to man, strong as man, but she allows her femininity to lead, her heart, her compassion. We don't need more chaos, but if Miss Chaos can inspire and encourage man to be the best husband, sons, brothers out here, to be the best men that we could be, well, that's a great woman leader. That's a great woman leader.